There seemed to be sand in his mouth. He did his best to recover himself. I'm ever at your service, always. Sister Ignatia turned and stalked away, muttering as she went. I would rethink that stance if I were you, Athene muttered to Antain. He turned and she gave him another broad smile. Thank you for helping me. You always were the kindest boy I ever knew. Come, let's get out of here as quickly as possible. After all these years, the sisters still give me the shivers. She laid her hand on Antain's arm and led him to her bundles in the garden shed. Her fingers were calloused and her hands were strong, and Antain felt something flutter in his chest, a shiver at first, and then a powerful lift and beat like the wings of a bird flying high over the forest and skimming the top of the sky. In which there is ever so much paper. The mad woman in the tower could not remember her own name. She could remember no one's name. What was a name anyway? You can't hold it, you can't smell it, you can't rock it to sleep. You can't whisper your love to it over and over and over again. There once was a name that she treasured above all others, but it had flown away like a bird, and she could not coax it back. There were so many things that flew away, names, memories, her own knowledge of herself. There was a time she knew that she was smart, capable, kind, loving, and loved. There was a time when her feet fit neatly on the curve of the earth and her thoughts stacked evenly, one on top of the other, in the cupboards of her mind. But her feet had not felt the earth in ever so long, and her thoughts had been replaced by whirlwinds and storms that swept all her cupboards bare, possibly forever. She could remember only the touch of paper. She was hungry for paper. At night, she dreamed of the dry smoothness of the sheath and the painful bite of the edge. She dreamed of the slip of ink into the deepening white. She dreamed of paper birds and paper stars and paper skies. She dreamed of a paper moon hovering over paper cities and paper forests and paper people. A world of paper, a universe of paper. She dreamed of oceans of ink and forests of quills and an endless bog of words. She dreamed of all of it in abundance. She didn't only dream of paper, she had it too. No one knew how. Every day, the Sisters of the Star entered the room and cleared away the maps that she had drawn and the words that she had written without ever bothering to read them. They tutted and scolded and swept it all away. But every day, she found herself once again awash in paper and quills and ink. She had all that she needed. A map, she drew a map. She could see it as plain as day. She's here, she wrote. She's here, she's here, she's here. Who's here? The young man asked, over and over again. First, his face was young and fine and clear. Then it was red and angry and bleeding. Eventually, the cuts from the paper birds healed and became scars. First purple, then pink, then white. They made a map. The mad woman wondered if he could see it, or if he understood what it meant. She wondered if anyone could, or if such things were intelligible to her alone. Was she alone mad, or had the world gone mad with her? She was in no position to say. She wanted to pin him down and write "she's here" right where his cheekbone met his earlobe. She wanted to make him understand. Who's here? She could feel him wondering as he stared at the tower from the ground.